Here are my thoughts on the JJ Abrams Enterprise. For the overall design, I really did like the saucer. It was a nice blend of the original Enterprise and the Enterprise refit from the motion picture. If someone is to do a reimagining of something with a large history, it is best to do a composite of the elements that made that one thing great. Let me meander a bit. While completely unrelated, let's look at Batman from the well-known Batman the Animated Series, which debuted in 1993. Now, Batman is meant to have a certain look. The cape, the ears, the bat symbol, the list goes on. Here, they took the blue-colored elements from the previous Silver Age incarnations of Batman and reduced them to dark blue highlights on Batman's suit. The designers also chose to go with the yellow elliptical bat symbol for a more classic measure. Point is, they took classic elements and darkened them to fit the darker theme of the series. Its sequel series, The New Batman Adventures, which aired in 1997, changed the Batsuit. They simplified Batman's look and muted his color scheme, making him look even darker. It even looked cleaner and more streamlined. For the series Batman Beyond, which took place in the distant future, the Batsuit looks radically different, and rightfully so. The ears have been lengthened and the cape is no longer present. Now, after these series had come and gone, in 2001, Batman was once again redesigned for the series Justice League, which is supposed to take place after the New Batman Adventures, but before Batman Beyond. Here, they took the best elements from all of the previous designs and meshed them together. They took the streamlined base design from the New Batman Adventures, the color scheme from the original animated series, and finally, because this was supposed to take place prior to Batman Beyond, it was decided to lengthen the Batsuit ears to act as a precursor to the Batman Beyond suit. The creators took the best elements from the previously done Batsuits to create a middle ground design for Batman in the Justice League series. Here, on the 2009 Enterprise saucer, this is very evident. For the most part, the saucer is identical to the Enterprise refit from the motion picture. However, upon closer inspection, it also has the spine from the original series running down the back of the saucer as well. Unfortunately, this good taste is only limited to this part of the ship. The blending of elements on other parts of the ship, like the blue-lit deflector dish and torpedo launcher, didn't really work well in the sections they are from. The rest of the ship feels like a caricature. The neck is stretched way far back on the engineering hull, and curves forward awkwardly in a way that doesn't complement the design. And the engineering hull itself looks like a stretched Laffy Taffy, as I've heard some describe it as. The warp engines, however, were probably my biggest beef with the design. They're so bulky and huge near the front, but they're so narrow and tiny at the back. A little variation in the circumference front to rear would have looked nice, but here it's to an extreme. The design adds too many unnecessary curves where there weren't any previously. I mean, you may find a few straight lines here there on the 2009 model, but for the overall profile, it seems like everything was changed. Well, simply for the sake of changing it, and no other reason. Like the engine pylons, formally straight, but for some reason they felt the reason to bow them outward. As for the interior, they wanted to make the bridge cleaner and the engine room dirtier, which sounds like a nice idea. But instead, we were left with a brewery for an engine room and an Apple store for a bridge. I didn't mind the overall bridge layout and design, it just wasn't the bridge design for the Enterprise. It also felt somewhat crowded with those glass panes and extra stations near the center of the bridge. My point is, the Enterprise is meant to be advanced, yes, but not so flashy, bright, and stark white. The Enterprise is meant to be state-of-the-art as well as functional, with a sort of Navy-esque feel design according to the late Matt Jeffries. Granted, I'm not saying they should have gone with a bright red and light blue, light gray color scheme of the original TV show, but it could have taken a more muted color scheme from the previous colors provided. More darker reds, darker grays, and blues with a less saturated hue. I'm just lying. I really just missed the red swooshing doors. Ironically, the bridge design aesthetics that they did incorporate from the original Enterprise design was something the original designer, Matt Jeffries, hated. Those antenna light monitor things seen in the original pilot and the second episode were among the few elements that were added to the I Enterprise. So even when the JJ I Enterprise is trying to be an homage, it falls flat on its face. Oh, and JJ Abrams, it's supposed to be a view screen and not a window. That there is getting a PhD and missing the point. For this alternate reality, I don't mind them trying new things with the Enterprise, doing an overall blending of old and new ideas, while adding completely new design elements to keep things fresh. But this Enterprise was completely disproportionate from anything we've come to know as fans. Some like it and some hate it. This is my 2 cents.